So there are a ton of videos in the Frontline Help and Resource Center, and that's what I'm going to show you today. We're going to walk through, it's 4 short videos, and it basically shows you any way that you can record your time and also how to submit your time. So by now you should see the time clocks in the buildings. We call those are referred to as kiosks in the buildings. That's how the training is associated to it. The very first video, they call it scanning. They didn't have the proximity cards. So tomorrow morning in your guys' boxes, the secretaries are getting these cards. This one happens to be Francis Cheney's. I got to get it in the Baker High School. So it's just a proximity card. Yep, Farah already has hers. I've made a few stops at South Baker today, so and I'm still not done. I'll be back by at some point. But you just simply walk by and you scan that to it. There is one location that does not have a kiosk. And so then Debbie, you'll be doing the one on the computer. So when it shows you how to do it on there, and then I can touch base with you too later. So what's nice about these kiosks is if you start your day at one location and say there's an emergency and you have to go fill in somewhere else, you can clock out at that other location too. So your kiosk cards will work all over the district, even here at the district office. If we have a meeting in person someday, you guys can all use those cards to clock in here and it'll accept it. Okay, so I am going to share my screen here and we will start loading these videos. Kim, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, so I'll load the first one here. Please stop me if you can't hear it.
At a kiosk is a quick and easy way to log your hours. When approaching the kiosk, you will see a screen with the current date, time, and the words waiting for scan. Scan your badge using the nearby.
So this is where they say scan. You're just going to walk up and it actually says scan here and you just get close to it. It's a proximity card, kind of like the contactless payments.
My card reader. In many scenarios, that's all there is to it. You will see a success screen confirming your activity. If, however, you work at multiple locations or have more than one job type, you may be asked for more details on the job for which you are capturing time. Make the appropriate selection using the location and job type dropdown, and click the green button to sign in. Depending on the circumstances, you may also be required to add a comment, or you can choose to provide your own. And that's it. Follow the same process when signing out for the day, and you will have successfully captured time using a kiosk.
So that is literally it when you do with the kiosk, okay? You just have one punch to sign in at the beginning of your day and the next one at the end of your day because we have the 30-minute lunches automatically deducted. Okay? We'll start with the next one. So here is a second way that you can clock in. They call it the web clock. So this would be if you are not near a kiosk, or it's more convenient for you to get into your classroom, sign onto a computer, and you can use the web clock.
Clocking in through the web clock is a quick way to log your hours. Depending on your permissions, you may be able to use your own device to sign in. First, open an internet browser. Then type signin.frontlineeducation.com. Click Time and Attendance to go to the login screen. You may want to bookmark this page for easier access later. Once on the login screen,
we don't log in this way with the user ID and password, so skip this little part. We do the single sign-on. So everyone should be using your first name dot last name at Baker SD. So just for this example, all other places use the user ID and password, but we have ours synced with Gmail.
Type in the username and password for your Frontline account. Then click Sign In. On your home screen, you'll see a few icons. To launch the web clock, click the time clock icon. Now confirm the name and location of the job. If you work multiple positions or work at multiple locations, choose the appropriate position and location from the drop-down menu. Also, your district may require you to choose a comment from the list for certain circumstances, or you may choose to enter a comment of your own. Once you're sure all your information is correct, click the green button to clock in. If your clock-in was successful, you'll see a success message and you're done. If your clock-in was unsuccessful, you'll see an error message. In this case, please report the exact wording of the message to your system administrator. At the end of the day, follow the same process to clock out. That's it. Now you know how to clip time on the time and attendance web clock.
All right, so that is the second way. And there's one more way that you can record time, and this timesheet method is mainly how you're going to fix any errors, okay? So if you come in the morning and you forgot to clock in altogether, and then you go to clock out at the end of the night and you realize, oh, I didn't clock in, this is how you'll be able to fix that.
You may have the ability to enter time manually onto a timesheet. If you have access to view and/or modify timesheets, you will see the timesheet icon. Clicking the option will take you to your current timesheet based on the pay periods set up by your district. If you do not have a recurring work schedule set up by your district, you'll need to click the Actions button in the top left corner of your screen, then choose Add Timesheets from the drop-down menu. Choose the date and location or job type of your time worked and click OK. Back on the timesheet, you can view another date range by clicking the calendar icon beside the action button and entering the custom date range you would like to view. To log your hours on your timesheet, first select the event type in the Time Events section. Many of you will only have one option here, and it may be something like clock or shift. If you're not sure what to select here, check with your school district. Enter your in and out times.
There's nothing different to select there, so it's just going to say sign in, sign out.
In the boxes provided. Time can be entered here in a variety of formats. So if you enter something like 3 p.m., it'll know what you mean. Even military time works. You can also leave a comment beside each in or out box if you choose. To add multiple time events, click the Add New Event button and enter the time in the newly created row. You also may have the option to edit existing times. To do this, simply click in the time event boxes and modify the time. Depending on your district settings, you may be required to leave a comment as to why you are editing an existing time. To delete an entire row of time, click the trash can icon at the end of the row. Now that you have added, edited, or deleted time, you need to save those changes. Click the green Save Changes button at the top of your timesheet to save your changes. If the button is gray instead of green, your changes have already been saved. That's it. You have successfully filled out your timesheet. If your district requires that you submit your timesheet, be sure to check out our Submitting Your Timesheet video. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
All right, so we do need to submit, so we'll check out his next video. That's the only way we'll be able to get the payroll information over to us. Okay, this is the last video.
Sheet after each pay period. If you're required to fill out a timesheet, make sure to check out our Filling Out Your Timesheets video before watching this one. It's a good idea to look through the days on your pay period to make sure all your time is correct before you submit for approval. Use the drop-down arrows to expand each day to view the details. You can also look at the weekly summary at the bottom of the timesheet to make sure the total.
This weekly summary down here, if you have two different job events, say you're a custodian and a cook or a custodian and a para, if you clocked in under two codes, it's going to have your hours lumped together by each job. So if you should see two and you only see one, then I can show you how to fix that on a one-off basis, because I don't think we have very many of that.
Hours look correct. When you're happy with how everything looks, you're ready to submit your timesheet to be approved. To do this, click the blue Submit button just above the Save button at the top of the timesheet. This will open a window listing all the timesheets that are in the date range and pending to be submitted. Use the checkboxes on the left to select or deselect specific dates you would like to submit. Here's something to keep in mind. If you're submitting time for the current day, make sure you have both the in and out times filled in. If you're not ready to submit the current day's time, uncheck that box before you continue. Click Continue to move on. On this next step, you have the option to enter comments and may be required to certify your timesheets are correct and or digitally sign using your PIN. These features may or may not be used by your organization. Complete the required
They are not used. We don't have the pin on there.
actions and click the Submit Timesheet button. If you forgot to save your changes before hitting the Submit button, don't worry. Veritime will automatically save your timesheets when you go through the submission process. Back on your timesheet, you will see the status has changed from pending to submitted. And that's it. You've done your part, and now the timesheet is ready for the appropriate approver. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
All right, so those are the first three were the ways that we can record the time and we can edit our timesheets. The last one was submitting your timesheet. Again, a 30-minute lunch is deducted after 6 hours of time worked. Rounding events, I think we've talked briefly about this, but it rounds to the nearest 5 minutes. So 7:22 is going to round to 7:20, 4:33 will round to 4:35. And you'll submit your timesheet at the end of each work week. Is there any questions? Kim, is there anything in the chat box?
Nope, there was just one asking about the rounding. I think that answered the question.
Okay. Do you want me to go a little bit slower and use our little fake employee that I've made and we can look into that, or does anybody want to take themselves off mute? I'll change that as a security thing. There you go. You should be able to unmute yourself if you have a question. Yes, I can't see everybody on here, but go ahead.
At the end of each week, so like anytime on Friday we can submit that and it will be fine, or you have into the weekend?
You get submitted at the end of your work week. So anytime on Thursday at the end of if you're clocking out, you can do it on Friday. We're not going to be pulling the time from the supervisors until that following month there. But if you can just do it at the end of your work week so you get into a consistent habit and we can see who needs to submit, that would be helpful.
And after discussing it with the supervisors or the principals, yeah, I mean, they're going to want those really submitted probably by first thing Friday morning. So then they can get them to us over the weekend. Just as if it was your timesheet.
The only other way that is not shown on the videos is you can clock in on the mobile phone. That is not required though, so that's why I didn't have it on here. If you are downloading it onto your phone, as soon as you log in, it'll have your absences on there where you can create one, and then it'll say clock in, clock out. It's not going to say that today, but it would say it's starting Wednesday because all the positions are effective 10/13.
So Rebecca, there's a question, does our scanned hours get automatically submitted at the end of the week, or do we need to do that manually?
So that's where at the end of the week, you're going to submit your timesheet. Those scanned hours are going to populate onto your timesheet for each day of the week, each event that you did. So you're in and you're out. And it's going to put that on your timesheet. And at the end of the week, you can take a look at it. Okay, yes, I was here, here, and then submit it. If you are gone a day, it will put that on your timesheet as well. So it's not just going to be missing a day. It'll say you have 8 hours of sick leave or 9 hours of sick leave, whatever it is. It'll have that on there too.